Alright, I'm bored and got called in to run the salt barn. That's what's behind me there. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about some shit jobs. Everyone's had one, and nowadays they seem to all be shit jobs. So, yeah, my freaking first job, I worked as a porter at AMF Bowling. And I did all kinds of crazy stuff, like removing gum, picking up vomit, sweeping, cleaning, getting gutter balls out, getting ice for the bar, all kinds of crap like that. And it wasn't a bad job. I got like minimum wage. And I did that for a couple years and I ended up leaving because I ended up working, my uncle ended up being the manager, and then he got another job somewhere else, and then the next manager knew my uncle, didn't like him, stuff like that, so he gave me a raw deal. Some kid that was another porter, he's like, hey, let's use my pickup truck to take out all the garbage to the dumpster. Okay. We load up his truck. This kid does a freaking burnout from the front of the building to the back of the building. So I got written up, and I essentially ended up getting laid off because of it. So, lost that job because of that. They didn't fire me, but they laid me off, and I was already pissed because I've been there 2 years. He wouldn't give me a raise, and the guy was an asshole. So I figured I'd go on to the next thing. Next thing, it was great fun for me. I was working at a Chevy dealership back in the mid-90s where they had like SS Impalas, Corvettes, all this stuff. So, you know, I would take cars to get fueled up, and I'd freaking do burnouts or go 100 miles an hour, you know, do drifts or whatever. Anything bad that you could think of you could do in a car, I did it. And I was 17 years old. I didn't care, you know, like, I learned how to drive stick on people's cars that came through service. And, hey, I didn't burn up a clutch or nothing. I don't know. It worked out, I guess. No one complained. So, you know, that was the next job. That one didn't, you know, I wasn't too great at that job. I'm not going to lie. But it was fun. And I ended up leaving there because they wanted me to work like 12-hour days in the middle of summer, and I was 17 years old, I had a girlfriend, friends, things to do, you know, so it didn't work out. So I ended up taking a part-time job working at Wegmans after that, and I ended up working there for like 3 years in the deli, and that wasn't bad. I kind of learned like customer service and how to deal with people. You get a lot of you would think like the deli's easy, you know, you just go in there, you ask for something, they slice it up, you take it, that's it. But people have problems. People come in there with attitudes. You just gotta, you know, it's Danny Wegmans. You just gotta put on a smile and deal with it, because you know it's all customer service. You know, you just gotta suck it up. So, you know, I did that, and it wasn't bad. I actually started going to college and things like that. It was part-time. I never worked more than like 35 hours. So it's pretty easy. But, you know, it didn't pay the bills, and I was getting a little older. I was like 20. You know, I needed some real money. And I actually decided not to go through with college because I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. That's just totally not me. That was more like my dad and my girlfriend had pushed me to like go down that path, and I didn't want to do it, but I did it. And then it just came to a point. I was there like 2 years going to MCC, a community college here, and basically I spent a year and a half just taking like prerequisites, like crap they wanted me to take that was just fluff. It had nothing to do with the degree I was trying to get. So I got tired of it. What did it for me is I ended up having to take this mandatory freaking English class that was like 70 people in this like auditorium, and they wanted you to do like Shakespearean plays, and it's like, what the fuck is this, dude? I'm here to earn an education to earn more money. I don't want to fucking reenact plays and shit that happened 1,000 years ago. Who cares? What does Shakespeare have to do with getting a freaking degree for a job? Nothing. So I got tired of it, stopped doing that, and my dad then pushed me to start doing temp jobs for Xerox. So long story short, I ended up doing that on and off, doing temp jobs for the next 8 years, along with, at the same time, I would do moving jobs with my cousin and his boss, and we would go out of town and we went all over the place, and I kind of liked that job. That was actually, I got to spend time with my cousin. He was pretty cool, and, you know, I got to see a lot of different things, and it was good hard physical labor. But, you know, it was under the table, and, you know, it just, you know, it wasn't a long-term thing. So, after doing that for on and off for 8 years, and going through the whole ordeal of getting laid off for 6-9 months, then doing something for 18 months, and then, you know, and then they started giving you, like, these shit deals, like, oh, we're gonna have you collate paychecks for, you know, the Xerox employees. And then, but like, at every job, every gig you would get through this temp agency, none of them paid the same. It wasn't like a gradual scale where you were getting more money. Some jobs would pay minimum wage. Some jobs would pay like $18 an hour. And some were like part-time. It was just scarce shit work that I was just trying to do to get in the door and get hired at Xerox. And then Xerox was just a deteriorating company at that point, and they were not going to hire anybody. So, and they wanted you to get a degree. Oh, I'm not going to go get a degree to do what? To do what here? You know, like what is my future even going to be here? You know what I mean? Like, do I see myself like collating papers and getting freaking paper cuts, you know, my whole life, or another thing that I have to do is like machine testing. Like, dude, this is the boringest crap job. Depressing, in a cubicle overnight. Like, no, this is not it. This is not what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to get a degree to get like $1 raise. No. At that point, I got frustrated, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do. Screw what other people want me to do. Screw what the ex-girlfriend wanted me to go to college, and my dad wanted me to go to college. Screw you guys. I'm doing what I think I should do. And you know what? I suggest everyone do that, because that's when you're gonna like take your own path. That's where you're gonna be successful, is taking your own path. So I did. I went and I took a shit job at Waste Management, got my CDL through them, which happens to be the worst slave labor job you're ever gonna work. You start out. Everyone at Waste Management starts off as a helper, and they do not give a shite about your health, your well-being. You'll be on a route that's like 500 stops. And the driver will keep going, will take on other routes without notifying you, without asking you if you have to go to the bathroom. You're on the back of this freaking truck. No lunches, no nothing. And so I did that, and I just grinded away, did whatever I had to do. I got injuries. They told me if I claimed my injuries or I reported them, that I wouldn't be able to become a driver. They would stop helping me get my CDL and things like this. So I was like, fuck. Like I have legit a dent in my shin to this very day because of that job. So long story short, they trained me. I got the CDL. I stayed there another like 9 months. I put in for every freaking route that became available. It doesn't matter if it was recycling, garbage, front loader, anything they had. And I would get a route. I got a route for like 9 months. This guy had cancer. He was like an old timer, had cancer, and because he chain smoked and ate fucking bear claws. Like this is what this was for me. This is your vision for the future. Working at this place, you're just some slave who has to resort to like little small pleasures in life by like chain smoking or like getting drunk on the weekends, and then you just watch these people deteriorate. It's like, I've been here 30 years and I got a pacemaker and one nut. It's like, hey, I want to do that. So, and no routes came up. I was on this guy's route for 9 months. He comes back, makes a miraculous recovery from lung cancer, and they give him back the route. They told me the whole time that he was going to do another route. I was going to get this route. This was going to be my route. Then they cut my pay, brought me on the back of a freaking waste management truck again as a helper, cut my pay down to freaking like $13 an hour. And I was like, screw this. Yeah, screw this. I can go anywhere and run my own damn truck for another company and get a raise. Then I entered what is the construction delivery business. And so yeah, and then I learned to be a crane operator. I ran a Moffett, box truck deliveries, pickup truck, plow truck, everything. Loader, that's what I'm in right now, doing this damn salt crap. And so I've been in and out of this industry. Basically the way it works in this industry is like, everyone, like, you'll have like ABC Supply, B&L, Lakeside, Allied, Allside, whatever, you know, like, and it'll be the same group of people just going from one place to the next place to the next place in this circle, and you'll end up back where you started. Because what happens is they don't give those, they'll stop giving raises. They'll, you know, they're assholes. Like, if you have a good attitude, you like working and stuff like that, well, guess what? You're gonna, hey, here, load this guy's truck because he's slow, he doesn't do good. Or I'm gonna give you extra runs because, you know, you're one of the better drivers. You're my go-to guy. I was the go-to guy. Don't ever be the go-to guy. Let me tell you that, because you're gonna get everyone's workload and no extra pay. I end up finding out the new guy was making like $1.50 more than me. He doesn't even do anything. All he does is complain. So, yeah, you know, you go from one place to the next place to the next place. And I got tired of that. I did that for like 9 years. And then last year I decided, well, hey, I seen this job posting for basically being a cement mixer on a aggregate truck where you mix it on site and all that stuff. I took that. I'm like, hey, I'm going to learn this new skill. And it was like $35 an hour. No experience necessary. We'll train you. All this stuff. Ended up being a nightmare. Not for the fact that I wasn't able to do the job. Did the job. So I actually left the job. Wanted to put my 2 weeks in. They said, no, we're going to be starting next week. We really need you. We're going to be training, and all the other drivers are starting. We really don't want you to start any later than that. So I said, hey, I really want to do this. You know, I want you to know that I'm serious about this, so I won't give them my 2 weeks, and I'll just come. So I did. Started on Monday. Worked there like 3 days. They did some training, not on the field. We just learned the trucks, learned how to mix, things like that. We did some calibrations and stuff. Then they'd be like, oh, you can go home early. This is all we got for today. This is week 1. Week 2, they tell us, hey, you know, business isn't picking up. We're just going to have you come in a little bit, but we'll top off your paycheck. Make sure you get 40 hours. And, you know, we'll just send you home for now. And we'll pay you. Okay. So then things start picking up a little bit. And after a month of that, here comes the first paycheck where I'm going to be making some overtime. So I say to the dispatch girl, what happens to be the owner's daughter, I say, well, great. Yeah, this is looking good. This is my first week of getting overtime. She says, and this is all via text. I actually still have the text. She says, well, actually, you're not going to be making overtime for probably the next month and a half because you have to pay back the money that we paid you to get your 40 hours. And you have to pay us back with interest. And I said, I didn't sign up for that. That was never part of the deal, and I'm not paying you back interest. And I got to know moving forward that I'm going to get overtime. And she says to me, okay, that's fine. The other 2 guys that started with you, they already agreed to do this. They already agreed to repay it back. So, you know, don't tell them. And, you know, moving forward, this is the way it's going to be. I said, all right. So after that day, nothing but problems. Up until that time, there was no issues, nothing. We got very minimal training. None of us had any background in cement mixing or anything like that. And they actually said that that's the way they like to do it because it's easier to train a driver to mix cement than it is for a mason to get a CDL. That's what they said, right? And so yeah, I gave it hell. I did the best I could do. I came in early whenever they wanted me to. You know, I was very flexible. I loaded other drivers. I tried to be an exemplary employee because I really wanted this to work out. And, you know, they neglected their equipment. We had silos that were always down. The trucks were down for stuff. They didn't want to fix it. They wanted us to fix it. Wasn't part of the agreement. I basically learned how to work on this equipment, and they would give attitude. They're like, well, it's not hard to fix it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, I have no experience on silos. I have no experience on this stuff, and you want me to just fix it. Well, and they would act like they had no time. There was no time. We're so busy, we have no time. Well, I'll get to this later. But, so, long story short, coming towards the end of the season where they had already told us that they're going to, you know, come October, that's it. You know, we're coming towards the end. But this is like August. Things started slowing down a little bit. Owner starts nitpicking everything. And So I did have an incident where some cement washout had ran into the gutter, because the only spot they gave me to wash out, and then the owner would go up and down your ass if the truck wasn't cleaned good enough. So it was up to us to talk to the customer and say, hey, where can we wash out? The only spot they had for me was like in this, end of their lot. It was this grass section there, and that was the only place I could do it. So ended up being a lot. So the washout ran into the gutter, and I tried running it down the gutter as best I could to wash it out, clean it out. It wasn't build up and stuff like that. Guess it wasn't good enough. So that was my one strike against me. And the owner told me, well, you're on thin ice now, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And so, okay. Well, then come like a couple, it was like a month later, I had a delivery, and freaking, it went fine. It went fine. The freaking customer even told me, he's like, thank you, you made it great. I appreciate it. You had a good attitude. Literally, the man shook my hand after this delivery. Well, then the next day I come into work, the manager meets me there. He says, hey, I got to let you go because they said that delivery didn't go so well. You didn't mix it right. I'm like, dude, that's a lie. That's a complete lie. Like, the guy shook my hand at the end of that delivery, told me I did a fine job. It was the way he wanted it, everything. And so I was pissed. Because they were done a bunch of shady crap. So I and they were doing a whole bunch of dirty shit on their site, that they like were dumping stuff into a stream and stuff like that. So I reported them. I reported them because honestly I was a little sour about the whole thing, and the way they treated me and trying to get me to pay back with interest and things like this, and super shady company. So they got a bunch of complaints on my behalf. They called me from a bogus phone number and threatened me, right? So this is my interaction with these jobs. So from doing that, from trying that, I'm glad I did it. I tried something different. I got an opportunity to make some more money, learn some new skills. But you know what? Now I'm back at doing the construction industry stuff, and delivering and running the salt barn and the crane and all this stuff. I'm just gonna go back to what I've been doing and what has worked for me. But this is the world we live in. Jobs are unfair, and they're gonna treat you like shit. They're gonna chew you up and spit you out. So always look out for yourself. If you can make more money going to a competitor, do it. If you gotta save up money to watch your back so you don't have to deal with shit customers talking to you like shit, and you gotta bounce one day because it's just not mentally good for you, do it. Look out for you. Don't be one of these chumps, literally chumps, that will do anything for the job, kiss ass, freaking, go out of their way to be that freaking the go-to guy, the teacher's pet, all this shit, because you know what? You're gonna get kicked in the teeth. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care if you die on the job. They'll have a replacement the very next day. So this is my long-winded rant of my shit job, life here, and everyone's got this story. Jobs are not what they used to be. Jobs are not what they were for my father, my grandfather, who could make a decent buck, have a pension, save money, make enough. It's just not going to happen for anyone these days. Not going to happen unless you're high management. And even people that are in these high management jobs that used to be, so rewarding back in the day, they're going to work you like a freaking dog, dude. You're going to be the first one in, last one out. The job's not paying what it used to pay. Everything's inflated, so forget about it. Making a living nowadays is just, it's just, you got to learn to just not give a shit. You just have to not give a shit. Give enough to stay, make your money, and just keep your eyes out for the next better thing. Because you got to advocate for yourself. They're not going to do it. They're going to treat you like crap. So this is my disclaimer for working jobs nowadays. Like, share, and subscribe. And hey, if you got a shitty job, let me know. Put it in the comment section.